I'm Ann Croker, writing coach. If you're tuning in for the first time, welcome. If you're a regular, welcome back. I support writers who are discovering ways to reach their writing goals by being more curious, creative, and productive. And today, we're going to talk about comps. When developing a book proposal, an author has to research comps. Now, the word comps stands for competitive books or comparable books, but in the end, it's a book that's like yours, similar but different, that you have to go out and look to see, are these books selling well? And then you can figure out your category and see if your book has a chance of also selling well. But what happens is that clients will go search for their comps and they'll come back to me despondent. Somebody has written my book, and then they don't know what to do. They feel frozen. They feel paralyzed. They're asking, why bother writing the book if somebody else has already done it? And it's a legitimate question. There's a line in Hamilton where Aaron Burr realizes far too late that the world was wide enough for both Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton. We need to embrace that truth. The world is wide enough for those authors and you, for those books and yours. Here's the shift. If there are other published books out there that people are buying, that's evidence that people want books on this topic. In fact, people rarely buy just one book on a topic. They're usually interested in exploring it from different angles. That's what you can bring. If one publisher comes out with kind of a breakout book in a category, other publishers want in on that too. That could be you. Your book is similar but different, and that's what you bring to the conversation. You could go to a librarian or an independent bookseller and ask for recommendations. If you have one book that you enjoyed, they can tell you about another book that's similar but different. Wouldn't it be amazing if your book was the one they recommended when somebody came to them with one book that they enjoyed? And they say, here's one that's similar. I think you'll like it. For that to happen in the future, you need to figure out this similar but different thing right now. First, you'll want to study how the authors of those comps delivered on their promise to solve the problem that their reader had. Then you'll discover how your book will be distinct from theirs, maybe addressing a similar problem or the same problem, but in your own way, in a fresh take. Here are a few ways you might do that. First, you might flip the assumption that the reader has and surprise them in that way. You can look for a gap that the other authors have left unaddressed, and that makes your book a little bit different. You can provide a memorable framework that delivers a really clear outcome. You can bring a level of authority and credibility due to your expertise. You can establish a level of trust based on your personal story and experience. You're trying to figure out how your book will be a little familiar to the reader. So that's the similar part, but you want it to be that little bit different too, where they're thinking, I've never heard anybody handle it in that way. Instead of shrinking back when you come across these comps, why not lean into them? It's going to align your book with theirs over time. So one way you could do that is to actually read and maybe review or highlight or spotlight that book on your website, on a blog post. You could do the same on social media, attracting people who liked that book and now they're interested in what you have to say. You could even lead a book club for that book, one of your comps, and then you'll discover from the people in the group having the discussion what's missing from that book. And I'm sure you're going to think, wait, I have an answer for that. And you can put that in your book. At the start of this video, I talked about the word comps and how that's short for comparable books or competitive books. But there's a third word I've heard some agents use, which is complementary books, meaning your book complements the others instead of competing with them and fighting against them. Your book can be friends with the other books. Your book can be next to theirs on a bookshelf. The world is wide enough for all those books and yours. Your voice can be contributing to the chorus of other voices, singing out this message to the world. When you look at comps, you're going to feel like there is nothing new under the sun, because there really isn't. But every new generation needs a new voice saying the same things in a different way. Your voice could be that voice. Finally, when you do look at comps and you see a few books coming out on the same topic you want to write about, that can sometimes be an indication that something's happening. There's a movement happening. Wouldn't it be amazing to be a part of that, for your voice to be part of a movement, speaking into that? Now is not the time to give up on your book. If you're seeing comps and you're discouraged and despondent, thinking your book has already been written, no, this is an indication that your voice is needed now in the distinct way that only you can bring it. If you're in the middle of researching comps and you'd like a little support, reach out to me, anncroker.com/workwithme, all jammed up together. That's anncroker.com/workwithme. I'd love to work with you. I'm Ann Croker, writing coach. Thank you for being here.